For centuries, we have thought of ourselves as unique, the pinnacle of evolution. While this belief seems to hold water, the Silurian hypothesis suggests otherwise. First proposed in 2018 by scientists Adam Frank and Gavin A. Schmidt, this idea was published in a paper titled The Silurian Hypothesis. Would it be possible to detect an industrial civilization in the geological record? The paper suggests that not only did an advanced breed exist before us, but geological processes must have erased all evidence of their existence. What started as a mere idea of civilization before us quickly transformed into concerning questions about their remains. Think about it. Imagine that the whole of humanity disappears today. How long would it take for all evidence of our existence to follow suit? Scientists peg it at a few thousand years. Our formidable skyscrapers would crumble, plastics would degrade, even our radioactive waste would fade. If all traces of our seemingly magnificent presence could disappear in a few thousand years, what do you think happened to the civilizations before us? Could we humans just be the latest chapter in a much older story? But before we answer that, where did the name Silurian come from? Enter the Silurian period. About 443 to 419 million years ago, in the third and shortest period of the Paleozoic era, scientists believed that life existed in Earth's oceans. However, there was zero evidence of intelligent life. To add to that, astrophysicist Adam Frank and climate scientist Gavin Schmidt thought it would be nice to pass a wink to Doctor Who.
Remnant of a bygone age on planet Earth.
Remember that sci-fi series where the fictional Silurians were an advanced reptilian species that lived before humans? Yes, that's them. Combining the idea of whether an ancient civilization lived before humans, plus the theory of life existing in the far Silurian period, the Silurian hypothesis began to make sense.
This land is ours. We lived here long before the apes.
But Frank and Schmidt's paper didn't stop there. Their thought experiment explored whether such ancient civilizations left any recognizable traces of their existence. Their conclusion? Probably not. Why, you ask? It's because geological processes like plate tectonics, erosion, and fossilization are so powerful that they could erase all physical evidence of an ancient society. Frank and Schmidt argued that instead of looking for a smoky Silurian picture or any other absurd physical proof, we better start searching for chemical fingerprints in the Earth's crust. And for a generation of humans with trust issues, this can be hard to do. Imagine abandoning your search for actual lizard folks to focus on anomalies in the carbon cycle. But in a short while, you'll see why these scientists thought that this would be the best approach. In the rocks presently available to us, only a fraction of Earth's history is preserved within. With such geological processes constantly repeating themselves, there is a high chance that entire eras have been wiped clean. If an advanced civilization did exist millions of years ago, its machines, roads, and skyscrapers would have been ground into dust and redistributed across the planet. But if all evidence of an ancient industrialized society has been wiped off, what do Frank and Schmidt's thought experiments rely on? Since we agree on the fact that geological processes must have eliminated physical proof of their existence, the scientists played on the kind of evidence that cannot be wiped away. Non-physical explanations. When the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. This is the theory Frank and Schmidt held close as they drafted their paper. If direct evidence like artifacts or structures used by Silurians have been obliterated by natural processes, how about chemical fingerprints? Surely chemical signatures embedded in the Earth's crust could serve as subtle indicators of past industrial activities, couldn't it? Take, for example, abnormal isotopic ratios. If an industrialized civilization did occupy the Earth before us, they must have engaged in industrial processes like fossil fuel combustion. And if they did, it would have altered the natural level of carbon isotopes. carbon-12 would become significantly higher than carbon-13. And where else to find such anomalies than the sedimented layers of Earth's crust? And if the ancient civilizations did use nitrogen-based fertilizers for their farms, that is, if we assume they did farm, there would also be anomalies in nitrogen-15 levels. These abnormal levels within the Earth's crust might point to the possibility of synthetic fertilizer production long before humans came to be. But this is not the only way suggested by the curious scientists. Frank and Schmidt took the Silurian hypothesis a notch higher when they stopped to ask, what if the ancient society fought nuclear wars too? Wait, what? That's pushing the boundaries for a civilization that we aren't sure of their existence to start with. But imagine that this advanced society did create nuclear weapons. If they did, then there could be radiological evidence lurking beneath Earth's surface as well. How so? The answer lies in radioactive isotopes. If nuclear reactions were indeed used by the Silurians for energy production or the production of weapons, there would be traces of radioactive isotopes. Take, for example, plutonium-244 and iodine-129 have extremely long half-lives and are not commonly found in nature. If scientists could detect their presence in geological layers, voila, we would be onto evidence of past nuclear technology use. But if scientists still missed such evidence, Frank and Schmidt had one more up their sleeves. What if the industrial civilization burned fossil fuels so much that they released excess amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere? In turn, global warming happened. Hard to believe, right? However, the scientists posed as many absurd angles as they could to find traces of an advanced society that existed millions of years before humans. But while these suggested tests show the possibility of past industrial activity, there is a twist. Even natural processes can produce similar evidence. For example, volcanic eruptions can send massive amounts of carbon dioxide spiraling into the atmosphere. This could distort carbon isotope ratios as well. A good example of this is the Permian-Triassic extinction event that took place over 250 million years ago. In the blink of an eye, a massive volcano eruption led to global warming and ocean acidification. So, before you blame ancient global warming on the Silurians, consider the natural events that have also occurred within that period. In the same shoes, we know how exciting the idea of a past civilization fighting nuclear wars sounded. Imagine lizard folks all guarded on their reptilian armor, ready to shoot down an enemy lizard country. It's the perfect Doctor Who's reincarnation. But as interesting as that sounds, it might not be the case. Nearly 2 billion years ago, the Oklo natural nuclear reactors also occurred in the Oklo region of Gabon, West Africa. Although it is the first, and so far the last of its kind, astrophysicists and scientists have used it to counter the Silurian hypothesis. Even if traces of radiological evidence from past industrialized societies were found today, it might be discounted to stem from natural nuclear processes, just like the one in Oklo.